Good evening and welcome to tonight's Chronic Yet Undefeated podcast. My name is Kaylin and I will be your host as we navigate in this journey called life together. I want to thank you all for tuning in. It means a lot to be heard and I'm hoping I can reach someone out there and help them feel less alone. Connection with other people is something that I feel can be challenging for many of us, myself included. With chronic illness, it's easy to feel rejected, isolated, and lonely through the words and actions of others. Some people may intentionally leave us out because our medical issues are more than they want to handle. Other people have the privilege to walk away from our symptoms, but we don't get such a courtesy. It must be nice for those that can simply turn the other way when they begin to feel uncomfortable, when we can't outrun our own body. There are people out there that call attention to our illness or make jokes about it, which can make some of us feel uncomfortable. While I have heard of some using humor and making fun of themselves as a way to get through life, I'm also thinking this has limits to it too. Some people may get too comfortable with a person's humorous approach and unknowingly cross the line, and this can cause some problems down the line. Trust issues can also be a problem that develop when any person has been harmed enough times that they hesitantly approach new people or isolate themselves completely. Truth is, we all need connection. God didn't design us to be the lone wolf. He didn't design us to truly be alone. We're never alone when we have God. On top of that, we need other people too. There's a lot we can learn from perspectives, creativity, and insights that come from other people. Not everyone is the same. Not everyone's thinking will be either. That's the beauty of it too. If we were all the same, this life would be terribly boring. In Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17, it tells us, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." This verse reminds me that it's good to be around other people, especially when the relationship builds us up. Being in toxic relationships, feeling lonely, or living in complete or near complete isolation from others has been said again and again to increase stress levels, alter the brain, increase the risk of health problems, and present a greater mortality risk. I think it's amazing that some of you get out and about when you can, and you're bringing awareness, sharing your story with others, or perhaps you're even more on the extroverted side and thriving to be alongside people. I think that's absolutely great, and it's wonderful to be able to see that. I'm definitely the introvert, so I avoid people, and that comes as first nature to me. Over time, I have realized that I do need people. I remember being emotionally hurt many times in my life by others I came across, went to school with, church with, or work with. There were many times in life where I wanted to be alone, but over a long period of time, I found myself feeling more stressed, anxious, or depressed. Staying on screens most of the day and chatting with people on the internet wasn't cutting it. When my husband and I moved to a new area, we decided to find a new church after we were settled in. Perhaps there was one around that would understand where we were coming from and wouldn't be judgmental about our situations when we'd miss out due to illness. When we started attending one, we got wrapped up into some of the dinner events at people's houses. Anyone could go, and it was a great chance to meet and chat with others from church. I noticed that when my husband and I were leaving each time, that I felt this sense of relief. I couldn't really describe it. I wasn't angry, upset, or as stressed about life as I normally was. It was a sense of peace that was lingering over me, and I was a bit more carefree. A lot of my worries melted away after hanging out with others for a while, and being in good company. That's when I began to think, wow, perhaps feeling so alone during times before this has been wearing on not only my physical body, but my soul too. At that point, I knew I had to make it an effort to get out there and be around other people. Years later, in the future, my husband had a glucose sensor on his arm. We would eat before volunteering at church, and his blood sugar was, of course, a lot higher right after eating. He wouldn't take his insulin right away because he knew moving around might lower him down too much, but he had it with him just in case he needed it. After he was done with volunteering, he checked his blood sugar again. He had even had a cookie while he was there, and his blood sugar had come down and was in normal range without his medication. Some of it may have been the physical activity, but his blood sugar was often awfully stubborn in coming down. The lowered stress had perhaps helped his blood sugar come down even more. It's continuously happened throughout the week when we were volunteering at that time too. We both definitely knew we need to be around people. There's definitely less stress and more well-being when we do this. It's not only a physical change, it's spiritual too. So I have some tips here on how to get started with connecting with others without kicking yourself down later. My advice would be to start small. If you're an introvert like I am, or if you feel that it would be too overwhelming to get out with people, look for a group to join or an event that lasts for a set time so that you know what to expect. Search for groups that meet for an hour or two. That way it doesn't drain your social battery too much and you'll know when you can easily leave. Also look for events that seem low stress to stay too. These can be great for getting out and dealing with people in small doses, but there's no real pressure to stay or leave, so you can walk away when you feel you may need to. A good way to begin connecting with people is to volunteer by doing something you enjoy to do. It's easy to lose track of time when we're doing something we love. Perhaps it's volunteering at a local animal shelter, a church, a soup kitchen, or something else. You're bound to meet some goal-oriented team players, and some of those people are the ones you want to be around because many of them want to see others succeed and will be there for you and encourage you. In the same way, you can encourage them and be there for your team too. Getting a pet is another, but it should be a carefully considered decision. While pets may provide valuable companionship, it might be tempting to avoid people and stay at home with your pet all day. Sometimes having a pet does allow us to connect with other pet owners if we choose to take a more social path with it, though. Keeping activities productive as well as being sure we're caring for ourselves is also another way to feel less lonely, as the brain is often more goal-oriented during these tasks. You did one 5-minute treadmill run the other day, try to make it 10 today. Looking for something new to do? Learn where to start for a new hobby. Went to bed a little late this weekend? Focus on going to bed an hour earlier each night until the right bedtime is achieved. Turn it into a reward system for yourself or make it a game if you can. This keeps things interesting. Do know that if you've been hurt by people throughout your life, it's also possible to begin healing with people in your life as well. Some people out there are toxic and they will drag us down, and those are the people we need to give ourselves distance from. What we need is people that surround us. We need people to surround us that are honest, trustworthy, and encouraging. Likewise, we need to be able to take correction in our lives if others are noticing something is really amiss. And taking correction from others can be complicated, irritating, or even embarrassing at times, but that's okay. We can take that correction and turn it around to be sure we take a different path next time. We all make mistakes and errors in judgment at times. That makes us human. How nice it can be to hear from a friend who truly cares and worries for us and wants to see the best result possible for our lives. For those with trust issues out there and thinking there's no way I'm going to be able to get back out there, I'm telling you right now, yes, you can. I avoided people as much as humanly possible for around 3 to 4 years. At one point, I was done with being hurt. I figured that I couldn't be hurt if I didn't trust anyone. The theory in itself sounds easy, but the result is loneliness and isolation, which tend to have detrimental effects on the body. I never thought I'd be around people again. I thought I was doomed to be alone, and that's how life would be for me. Lonely. The best place to start if you're in this boat is to trust, but in small doses, and when it is safe to do so. When we can learn to trust what is safe, we can begin to learn to take chances with what we don't know yet, and still be able to take that in small doses at a time. We can't hide ourselves in a cave under a rock forever. There will be times where we're hurt, but what we do with that hurt matters too. There can be a lot of power in picking up and moving forward because we know who we are and know what others may have said wasn't true. Perhaps we are worrying too much about what others think. Whatever the case is, it is possible to trust again and to reconnect with others while taking the least amount of risk possible to build ourselves up again. I have found that this process is a bit tedious, but it is so worth it once you can make more meaningful connections in your life again. This reminds me of Matthew chapter 7, verses 15 through 20, which says, "Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus by their fruit you will recognize them." While this is talking about false prophets that, of course, can be tricky and deceptive, I think this is a good verse to think of when we think about people's character compared to the results that come from that. Basically, a good person is going to show good character, and an evil person is going to show evil character in what they do. Of course, some people are great at covering their true selves, but they can't maintain their mask forever. Likewise, if we feel red flags going up in our mind for some reason, we should take caution. Not being rude, not always fully avoiding unless we feel that we're in some type of danger, but staying aware. This week, let's focus on making at least one connection, as small as it might be. It may be saying, "Hi, how are you?" to the cashier at the store. It could be saying, "Thank you for everything you do" to a wonderful childcare worker. It could also be something a bit deeper, as carrying a conversation with someone new at a hobby group or a local event. Then keep note of how you felt before and after. Come back and comment on your progress if you'd like to share. Do you have any good tips on connecting with other people? If so, leave them in the comments. Was there anything that you felt resonated with you today? Click the like button. If you don't want to miss out on any future podcast episodes, remember to click the subscribe button. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you again next time.